Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is Learn to Live
Outside.
On today's episode, we're in beautiful Childs Lake, home of the world's dullest pine trees, and we're going to tackle mountain biking.
Mountain biking is a great way to go out, see the country, and have fun. It's good for your heart, it's good for the environment, and it keeps you in shape for the babes.
So what you've got here is your basic mountain bike. And on this show, this is what we like. No frills, hardworking, and best of all, it's cheap. It's got a lot of the standard options you find in a base model. Headlight, bullfrog bar. This one happens to be a 500, which is the length of the bike in centimeters. These tires right here are a great tire for the trail. They're about a 7 on the Stephen Harper knob scale. On your side here, you've got your park switch in case you need to park on a hill. And this right here, handy shoe cubby so you don't get muddy while you're riding. And there's some garbage there, but I just usually scratch that off. Much like a sex offender, mountain bikes have to be registered in this province. Over here, you got your tire air pressure holding tank, a hitch in case you want to take your empties cart to the beer store, and then the rest of this, it's all cosmetic.
Now, this is the Escalade of mountain bikes. It's a 650, which means it has 650 internal moving parts. As you can see, it's got a windshield, some chrome 20s on it, and a bear killer on the front. Much like luxury yacht owners name their boats, this one name is Arctic Cat. Ironically, it's horrible in the snow.
So before you go riding, you want to familiar yourself with the controls of your bike. Right here, you got your Acceleratrix, controls your speed. Over here, the decilometer slows you down. This gauge measures calories burned per hour with an option for high calorie burn, low calorie burn. This right here is your choke. It increases the drag on the real wheels to make it harder to paddle up a hill. Because this one's not just a base model, but the next step up, it does have an adjustable suspension, off, low, and high for those big rocks. Over here, you've got your reverse override. This is in case you go down a one-way street the wrong way. And finally, the most important part, because you're going to be working up a sweat, in the middle, you've got your Gatorade storage tank. Fill it up with your favorite drink, stick a straw in, you're ready to ride.
A few quick safety tips while riding a mountain bike. If you're ever getting into any problem, remember, when in doubt, throttle it out. You're on 4 wheels, you're stable. It may not feel good, give it some gas, it'll straighten up. Also, in case of a rollover, you feel like it's going over, hold on tighter. You don't want to look like a retard in front of your friends. Now, gear is also very important when you're going out for a day of riding. When you're on the you want to be as lightweight as possible. The lighter you are, the faster you're going to be. So stuff like this, a jacket, it's heavy, it's warm, it's not really going to benefit you at all. Take it off. The more exposed skin that you have, the cooler you're going to be on your ride.
Now, arguably, the most important part of safety gear while you're riding is this, the helmet. Brain bucket, skid lid, whatever you call it, it's going to protect you. Now, helmets aren't governed by any regulatory body, so when it comes to shopping for one, there's only 2 things you got to look out for. Looks and price. Well, we got our gear on, we've inspected our bikes. You ready to do some mountain biking, Jeff?
I was born ready, Ray.
Let's go. I'm wiped out.
My thighs are killing me.
Why don't we try that tandem bike?
Let's do her.
And what we've got here is your tandem model. It's great for the older folks or people who just can't really, handle the hassle of riding a single bike. It's got all the features you'd find on a single bike, raccoon bar, speed dent, and it's even got a windshield to keep the mud off you.
Now this model is the Rhino. It's named after the first ever animal it ran over in testing. It's a 700 FI, which means 700 beer fit in this particular model.
Well, Jeff, should we ride?
Let's go.
So when it comes to approaching a roadway, here's a couple safety tips. You're going to want to come up slow, look both ways, make sure everything is clear, and then approach in a slow, direct line and make it across in a quick but safe way as possible. Or you could do that.
In the case of the dreaded Manitoba hurricane, the safest place to be is underneath your bike. These things are heavy. Nothing's gonna move it unless it's you.
Now you may find yourself, for some reason, having only one bike on the trail, but two people. We're gonna demonstrate the proper way to double on a single bike. Step 1, you're gonna wanna firmly engage the Disolatrix. Step 2, get a good two-handed firm grasp on the handlebars and hoist yourself over. Step 3, remove your hands and plant them firmly on your hips. Now step 4, rider 2 comes in and jumps on the front of the bike. Step 5, rider 2 finds a firm, comfortable place to sit down on the front end. And finally, step 6, rider 2 makes sure he's in total control of the bike.
For safety's sake, the rider in front always has to be in control of the mountain bike. You ready to go?
I'm ready. There is, of course, the controversial European method of doubling, but we don't recommend that.
Now, it's inevitable on a day out on the trail that you're gonna get thirsty. If you've forgotten to fill up your Gatorade container before you leave, look for something like this. The rule of thumb is, if the water's flowing, it's safe to drink.
Now here's another one of those interesting signs. As you can see, this one was put here by the Alzheimer's Tribal Council because they had an issue with a lot of seniors driving their scooters through the creek. As you can see, even a forested trail isn't untouched by politics. Courtesy of the Conservatives, they'd like you to keep right. While you're mountain biking, you're bound to come across signs such as this that specifically outlaw the use of ATVs on the trail. Now we don't have to worry because we're riding bikes and they're zero impact, but environmentalists stand firmly by their stance that ATVs both damage the wilderness and sodomize wildlife.
Another bedtime story brought to you by the purveyor of lies, David Suzuki. Now what we found here is a Viking sitting device built in 1876. It's all that's left of one of the earliest North American settlements.
What we've got here is the Great North American Deciduous Crawling Tree. These things grow along the forest floor using their feelers to look for nutrients. They can actually migrate up to several kilometers per year depending on the economy. As you've seen from watching our show, both Jeff and myself love and respect nature, and things like this just boil our tomatoes. It's an eyesore, it smells terrible, and it's going to attract rodents. Now, I know what you may be thinking, but this is no accident. This is actually the proper way to load a mountain bike into a pickup truck. Step 1, you're going to want to get the bike up on its tail like this. Step 2, have your friend or yourself drive the pickup truck to load it.
Now, step 3 is to load the mountain bike in the back of the truck. This can easily be done by one person, as demonstrated by Ray.
It's just that simple. So as you've seen today, we've covered pretty much every model there is out there for a bike. You got your big old tandems, your luxury models, and your bare bones get out there and ride. So on behalf of myself and Jeff, I'd like to thank you for joining us in another episode of Learn to Live Outside.
And remember, if it's got tits, tires, or spark plugs, it's going to end up costing you money. What the is that? What was that? It's heavy, doesn't really do much for you. Lose the jacket, and who the stole my shirt? Action is very important. You want to be as lightweight as possible. Stuff like this, like a get that branch out of here!